All right. This brings us to Norman Sann and Change Coming. Brett, you said this was before we were recording or during, but you said this is how you feel, and you quoted a lyric from this song. So I'm excited to hear you talk about Change Coming.
Yeah, the lyric is swerving through the city, got my music hella loud now. I don't care that the street's this busy. Change coming, baby. You can feel it in the air. And yeah, it definitely feels like swerving through the city. For me, that line is the sort of cacophony, the closeness, the density of all these things happening at once. And then I've got my music hella loud. I'm living out loud. I'm living fully. I'm fully expressing myself. And I don't care if the street's busy. I don't care if everybody's seeing me right now, because change is coming and you can feel it. And I think that's maybe the mantra that every time he sings that out loud, I'm full blast yelling the words, and I don't care if I sound bad because I got Norman to back me up. So yeah, man, Norman Sann, Norman Sanchez is his name. He actually got the name Norman Sann through a Japanese exchange student who they ended up connecting over the anime series Dragon Ball Z. And I have no idea why Norman Sann is where that came from, but I think that they connected over some Japanese culture, and then his Japanese friend just decided to call him Norman Sann. Anyway, it stuck. Interesting name. It definitely caught my attention when I first saw it. And then to find out that his last name is Sanchez, a little bit more common than Sann, made a little bit more sense. There's a couple of things that I really love about Norman. One of them is the way he releases music, the way he's producing his music. He's definitely bucking the system. Like, it's hard to find his music on a lot of the platforms. I was a little bit shocked to find him on Spotify because he didn't want to sign on a label. He's like really bucked the system. He perceives himself to be a music generalist. He says that he dabbles in music. He's got skills with trombone and percussion and guitar and harmonica and piano and organ. Like, he's all over the map. Plus, he blew up on TikTok. Like, he makes a lot of visualizations and he'll free flow his lyrics on TikTok. And he's got this interesting story in an interview on video where he's talking about how he had just this wild idea, and then he decided to pursue that idea, and he thought it was going to be nothing, but then it completely blew up. It went viral on TikTok. So he's gotten more of a name now because of some of the stuff that he's done there. I just think it's interesting that lyricists like this, that he doesn't even see music as his main thing. Like, he sees what I would think of him a little bit more like a culturalist. Like, he's trying to live a way that's unique and distinct from the rest of the world around him. And I think that this song, Change Coming, really nails it. And I think that line really nails it. Like, he's doing something different, and he doesn't really need to call attention to himself, even though there is a lot of bravado in his lyricism. There is a lot of writing about himself that I think is interesting and unique and personal and vulnerable. I like that he's connected with his fans. There's another article that I read about him getting real close with one of his Patreons, one of the participants in his Patreon. That person passed, and he was talking about how it impacted him. And the fact that this artist knows his fans well enough that he knows that they passed, that touches him. To me, that's, yeah, I love that an artist has devoted so much time and attention into his following and what he's creating. That tells me that it's important to him, that the connection, the relationships are what matters to him. And if that's what's going on, then that's the change that I want to see in my world too. And yeah, I'd love to hang out with Norman sometime. I think he'd be an interesting cat just to roll around Houston with, which is where he lives now. He spent some time in Dallas as well, so he's moved around, always been a city guy. But I'm very curious to see where he goes from here. His music catalog previous to this is a little bit less soulful, more in your face, more, I don't know. But this one, he sings out loud, and he's got all the soulfulness coming through, and I just think that it's dope. A lot of his lyrics have double meanings. Like, he says, one of my favorites that stood out is sick without symptoms. And this idea of sick has multiple meanings. The lyrics from Change Coming has a bunch of those in there. And it feels like he's holding paradox with some of those pieces. So yeah, it feels he really is singing to to me right now, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, he takes a little bit.
Sean, being in Houston, yeah, let's go to
Yeah,
you.
I don't know him at all. Houston's a massive town. It's not a music scene town, really. It's a place where people go to make a living, and cost of living's pretty low. So it's different than a lot of other places. It would be better if I knew of such a local artist, but I don't. So I'm appreciative of the intro. Like a lot of rap, he's rapping about how he's the man or he's the best, but I really like the way that he does it. It's clever and it's tongue in cheek. It's funny, such good style. I appreciate how stripped down and not overproduced it is. It's pretty raw and smooth. I loved some of the lines. Even your top 5 rappers say Norman Sann flow nice. And if your top 5 are dead, I bet their spirit coincide. So it's like, who says that? I thought that was great.
Right.
It made me laugh. And even, yeah, I felt like his vocal delivery was a lot like Mac Miller. And even in the line where he says, I don't know, he sounded like Andre, Eminem, Ludacris mixed with a little bit of, what's his name? I forgot. Who cares? Just so playful. And so really well done. Rap can be annoying at times when it's laced with profanity and stuff like that. He doesn't do that. He seems like he just wants to put together a track that's relatable and where like having a laugh or not taking it too seriously is the main point. So I thought it was really well done. And then the change coming is fun. I think it's also a nice segue from episode 27, and which had the theme of change, and then where we were on hiatus for several months while we're figuring things out. It seems like this is a little bit of a segue maybe into where we are now. So I thought it was an excellent add to the playlist and a song that I enjoyed quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm always grateful for an introduction to excellent hip hop like this. And it's like I totally I was going to say, he sounds a lot like, I don't know, Cool Keith and Dr. Octagon, and mixed with a little bit of, what's his name? I forget. I was going to try to weave that in, but Sean stole it. So I just went back there to ruin the moment. But I totally agree. He's entertaining at every part of this, and the music is its own kind of entertainment value too. I went to his website too, and Brett, you're totally right. Like he has a statement at the bottom about independent music and how if you like it and feel the same way, please donate to the cause. Like, this is about this. If you like this, pay for it, kind of thing. And I totally get that. And I'm guilty of not doing that enough, but I'm also trying to do better and buy the music and feel the music and participate and be there live and buy the shirts. He's got some great stuff on his site too. I recommend going to Norman Sann and see some of those awesome sweatshirts about I Miss Mixtapes, which I think was one of his first mixtapes. I saw he dropped Sandscripts a week ago. So there's something new out there from him too. Hopeful to get to see more. Didn't realize he was Texas based, so that's a cool story. There's so many parts of his lyrics that I really enjoyed. The playfulness of used to have Poco, now I feel like we got plenty now. Like, there's some interchange using words to make it have a feeling and have a scene and have some humor to it too. So lots to grab onto, and very much liked it. I loved the swerving through the city and how he changes from a staccato kind of rap and kind of an aggressive style to then like the smooth. And then you're right, he's like singing like changes come, like an artist that could do all of that and weave it into a song that is seamless in a way. That was really brilliant. So once again, Brett, you pulled me into some hip hop I probably wouldn't find on my own, but really loved it. So nice work.
Nice. That's high praise. Also want to name that the album is called Pressure, just to connect the dots there from one track to the next. I've been really enjoying the progression of the sounds and the way that you all did the art direction on this.
Nice. Something is truly brewing in the air. So let's give it a spin. This is Change coming from Norman Sann.